At the CUNY ASRC, we practice interdisciplinary research. We study nature from the smallest scale and work our way up. It's like riding an elevator. The first stop is nanoscience. Nanoscience manipulates particles on a tiny scale to create new material, some of which mimic many of the natural functions found in nature.
So over the past few years, we have developed water-responsive materials that mechanically deform in response to humidity changes. And these materials enable evaporation energy harvesting devices that can continuously and directly convert evaporation energy into mechanical motions or electricity.
The second stop is photonics, which pushes the boundaries of how materials interact with light and sound.
We use lasers that produce very short bursts of light, and we use these lasers as a tool to understand how energy gets absorbed in materials and how we can engineer materials and create devices that convert that light energy into other useful forms. For example, electricity in solar cells or solar fuels generation in an artificial photosynthesis process.
Third, structural biology. This initiative explores how the organization and function of molecules dictate the way cells talk to and interact with one another.
Within our cells, all of our cells, there are a variety of complexes or assemblies, and these are assemblies of molecules, of biomolecules like proteins and nucleic acids that come together and form unique materials. And these are called biomolecular condensates. And so, also similarly, we believe that the unique properties of these condensates are uniquely tied to their function and may be implicated in a variety of diseases, from neurodegeneration through a variety of cancers. So our lab aims to understand how this works. So we try to understand which types of biomolecules can generate these types of condensates and what type of condensates they are. So which molecules can phase separate into assemblies with unique properties and what those properties are. And we further aim to understand how these properties are linked to function as well as pathology.
Fourth, neuroscience, studying the effects of the environment and genetics on brain function and behavior, giving us a better understanding of disease development and mental health.
So the main interest of my lab is to understand how environment affect mental health through regulation of glia cells and their communication with other cells in the brain. So broadly speaking, environment as a whole is a big risk factor for developing psychiatric disorders. And to name a few environmental risk factors we're looking at in my lab, this includes social experience, diet, as well as air pollution exposure. And then this experience or these changes can strike at various times of the developmental period. And yet, they are capable of inducing long-lasting maladaptive behavior responses through changes of gene expression in the glia cells in the brain. And these cells are typically traditionally ignored in the study of depressive disorders. But we actually find that these cells are actually highly dynamic and highly responsive to environmental stimuli.
And fifth, environmental sciences. This initiative examines and questions the interactions between humans and nature to better understand how communities may be disproportionately impacted and provide data that can help design a more sustainable future.
I develop instrumentation to monitor different environmental variables in the urban environment. So we have a number of projects in the lab. One of the more impactful ones is something called FloodNet, where we have been developing over the last 3 years a network of low-cost, low-power sensors that are deployed throughout the city and are monitoring the flood events in the city. We have them out in the coastal areas where we have something called nuisance flooding or sunny day flooding, that is floods that occur due to high tides, and those occur periodically. And we're also monitoring storm floods when there are heavy precipitation and a lot of rain in the city, and we have different areas that suffer floods. So we have these network sensors that are reporting and giving us updates on those floods. Other aspects of the lab are in something called the Community Sensor Lab, where we have students and community members that come into the lab, learn the technologies, build their sensors, and then use them in their environments.
The uniqueness of this institute comes from being at a public institution that serves a diverse community of both students and participation from diverse faculty, and at the same time we are at the level of the best science that can be done in the world when it comes to photonics, when it comes to nanoscience, when it comes to the other three initiatives. And so bringing that unique mix together is what makes this institute both alive and special within the New York City scientific ecosystem.
If you'd like to learn more about the CUNY ASRC, visit our website, asrc.gc.cuny.edu, and connect with us on social media at ASRC_GC.